mean, like, that's a really huge question. We're still figuring it out, as we're still figuring out what's gender equality, what is gender. But I mean, one of the biggest challenges that we have to foster or promote gender equality is to have everyone involved, from policymakers, decision makers on the government levels, on the institutional levels, and then on the public level. I don't think that, without having everyone involved, I don't think we'll be able to manage to unroot and deconstruct a lot of the misconceptions about gender equality, and about our privilege as, men controlling most of the assets. I mean, it should have everyone definitely involved, and redefining those kind of gender roles that maintain the system of patriarchy, a system of privilege, a system that makes the majority of women an unjust world, and then reconstructing a new world that everyone is happy. Men are also staying away from those over expectations of what they should do and shouldn't do. Women have realistic expectations, and they themselves make those expectations, or what do they want from life and how they want it. Other genders can have the freedom to be who they are and whenever they want, and changing their mind about their gender orientation and expectation from society. Well, I think that's the biggest conversations that we need to have. For a very long time, gender equality meant women empowerment. And since they are also the ones who are subject to most of the injustice that is related, are gender-based, it has been a focus on them. Then we're recently discovering that we cannot resolve a social problem with only half of it, especially that we're not involving men in promoting gender equality. So men haven't been part of that conversation. First, they do need to speak about it. There's a lot of injustices that is happening to men because of their gender. There's 4 times suicidal rates on men than women. Most of the majority of men in prisons or committing violent acts. That's also in a way that they have been brought up in society to become that aggressive, to be taking risks, to be perceived as the hero most of the time, regardless of what kind of hero that we expect from men. So that's one thing. We do need to deconstruct that man box of what makes men the way that they are, what makes men commit violence against women, and what makes other men not commit that violence. How we can build a good model for fathers, for brothers, for colleagues, for employers that could be supportive of all kinds of genders, supportive of men, supporting of women, supporting of other gender to have. And then once we have that also unpacked and we understand so much about the men in our society, then see how can we bring them into that conversation about how us being men, the way we are, that affect other women, other men, ourselves, and all of those who we love. And then we need to agree on a new social code that makes everyone is fulfilling their dreams and ambitions and expressing themselves the way they want, without, to the maximum of how they want their life, without being affected by another person. So it's definitely 2 ways. Part of it has to be done from the men, within the men. The men needs social movement as well. Like feminism, there should be manism, kind of a social movement that unpacks that constructed way of being a man, and seeing how we can evolve and change a lot of those negative connotations that is affiliated with us as men. See how we are negatively influencing other men and other members of society, and then finding a way that we could all live happily and peacefully in a society that supports everyone.